Hi guys, it's Laura and today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. So I read a total of 6 books in February, not as good as January, but I am still very happy with how many books I read. I read some amazing books this month, so I've got a lot to say about them, so let's just get into it. So the first 2 books that I read this month was actually rereads, or should I say last month rather, were rereads, and that was See How They Run and Take the Key and Lock Her Up by Ali Carter. These are the last 2 books in the Embassy Row trilogy. I love Ali Carter and I love the Embassy Row trilogy. I don't feel like I expressed my love for it as much as I probably should, but I really love this series. And rereading them made me remember just how much I loved it. I had already read See How They Run twice before. I'd only read Take the Key and Lock Her Up once, which is why I wanted to reread the series in the first place, because I wanted to reread it. And it just reminded me how much I love it. Of course I give it 5 out of 5 stars. And it's basically the series about a girl called Grace who is moved to live with her grandfather, who is the embassy of the US, the ambassador for the USA in a place called Adria. I can never pronounce that. And she is basically determined to find the scarred man who killed her mother. And it kind of evolves from there. There's so many plot twists. It's just so good. I recommend it to everyone. Next book that I read in the month of February was a very hyped up book. And if you haven't heard of it, where have you been? It was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I really enjoyed it. But I feel like the hype might have made me enjoy it less. There were some aspects I was like, seriously? And some parts that I was just like, wow, but then other parts I was like, yes, this is so amazing. So I gave it a 4.25 stars because I was indecisive. I really loved the character Jude. I actually started liking the character Carden, who is Prince Carden. I just like the fairy world. I loved Holly Black's writing, which I was like kind of iffy whether I would like it or not. I've never read any of her stuff before, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm definitely excited for the next one to come out, which isn't coming out until 2019, and I don't know how we're supposed to live with that, the ending of that for another year, but okay. It was really enjoyable. I think if you are affected by hypes, I would put it off for a while if you're kind of iffy on it, because the hype definitely did have a bit of an impact on my rating, but overall, I really enjoyed it. The third book that I read, fourth book that I read in the month of February was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens by Becky Albertalli. I actually wrote a review for this on my blog, which I will leave linked down below. The more I think about it, the more I actually did like the story. But at the time I gave it a 3.5 stars, which I think my rating is still going to stick, just because I did have a couple of issues. Simply the writing took me a very long time to get into, and I wasn't fully endorsed in Becky Albertalli's writing, but that's just a personal thing. It has nothing to do with Becky Albertalli at all. I just wasn't feeling her writing for me. But that said, I really enjoyed Simon's story. I thought it was quite cute. I was so shocked at who Blue was. I was like, if you don't know, Simon vs. Homo Sapiens is basically about a guy called Simon who is gay. And he hasn't come out to anyone yet. However, he is talking to a guy called Blue over email who is also gay. And kind of sharing their experiences of not coming out to people, and then his emails are being threatened by someone. He's basically blackmailed, and then because that person doesn't get his way, his secret is exposed. And it goes from there. It's really cute. I loved the friendships, I loved the family. I just had a few issues which I did mention in my blog, but it was mainly the writing. But yeah, I still enjoyed it, and I'm very excited for the movie coming out next month, unless you are American when it comes out next week, but still. Very excited, and I think I might actually enjoy the movie slightly more, but we shall see. The 5th book that I read in the month of February was Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Oh my god, this was incredible. This book was severely hyped up in the month of October last year when it came out, and I was kind of iffy from the synopsis, but I wasn't really feeling it, and I kind of have a hit and miss with John Green itself, because I've only read 2 of his books, but I loved one and hated the other. So I'm kind of iffy when it comes to John Green in general. But my friend read it and she said she really enjoyed it. She connected with it a lot, so I was like, I'll give it a go. It's basically about a girl called Aza who her and her best friend go on the hunt for a billionaire who is missing and wanted by the police, and there is a £10,000 reward, and she happens to know the son of this billionaire she used to be friends with, and she kind of starts becoming friends with him again. She has OCD, and seeing her thought process and reading it, and I'm just like, so just what she's going through. I feel like even if you don't have OCD, you can still kind of connect with some of the things that she was saying. There was so many amazing quotes in there, which I just loved. And it was just amazing. And the ending, I swear to God, I love it. I loved like endings of books. Certain books have a much more impactful ending, and this was one of them. I loved it so much, and I highly recommend it. And of course, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And the final book that I read in the month of February, which I actually finished 20 minutes before the end of February, was My Lady Jane by the Lady Janeys. Cynthia Hand, if I can remember them, I will name them. I know Cynthia Hand is one of them. I'm gonna get them up because I feel bad if I only mention one of them. Okay. We have Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton, and Jodie Meadows making up the Lady Janeys, which are basically, obviously, these three women. This one is about Lady Jane Grey, who is the 9-day English Queen, who I absolutely love in general. I am a massive nerd when it comes to the monarchs of England. I love them, and I especially love the Tudors. And Lady Jane's story I just find extraordinarily fascinating, but of course this was not true to the story. This had magic in, this had different elements in it. The character Edward, King Edward, and her husband Gifford, whose actual name was Guildford, in case any of you didn't know, and Lady Jane. I loved all 3 of these characters and the way they were, and I loved it so much that now I am pretending that that is actually what happened in real life, because I don't like thinking about the actual ending of it, but it was so cool. The magic, the ending, they're making it similar to history at the start and then kind of adding bits in it at the end. The new characters that weren't obviously real were just amazing, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it, even if you don't like history or Tudors or kings and queens. I would recommend it because it's not only amazing, it's hilarious. There's certain things, I'm just like, one thing in particular, because I'm English, it was just like, he was going to offer her tea because that's what English people do under stress, and I was just like, drink tea. So yeah, I absolutely adored it, and the fact that it was written by 3 women, you could not possibly tell. Even though they kind of made it clear that it was a we are kind of narrative, because they added little bits from the narrator in it, you couldn't tell that it was written by 3 different people, and that is just amazing. So highly recommend it. I don't know whether I'm going to read the next one they're bringing out, which is about Jane Eyre, because Jane Eyre is kind of a thingy with me, but maybe I will, maybe I won't, but we shall see. So that is all for my February wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be leaving the link down for my blog below because I have a review for Simon vs. Homo Sapiens, and hopefully we'll be having a review of My Lady Jane soon. We shall see if I can get around to writing it. But yes, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye guys!